Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Rhea, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. Welcome back, guys, to another episode. I'm so happy to be here. Have you gotten your merch? What's the feedback? I've been so excited to be seeing you guys wear your hats in the wild. You've been tagging us in stories. You've been sending me pictures. Oh my God, it warms my heart so much. If you haven't already, go to coffeemeetsvodka.com/shop to get your Shut Up, I'm Talking hats. I mean, they are just chef kisses. Today I am drinking an espresso martini because Kathy was off today. I was like, no big deal. Let me do it myself, girl. Like NBD. She was like, I can help you, blah, blah. I said, no, girl power, independence, got it myself. That's the last time I'll ever have her take a day off. It took me a damn hour to set up and I lost my camera somewhere inside my house. So I need a little drinky poo, a little espresso martini to take the edge off. I can't get it together. Oh, and I've spilled. You guys, you know what espresso martini that is? That's not homemade. Mind you, I make really fucking good espresso martinis. I'm a great chef. I almost went to culinary school, but I digress. That is a Loverboy espresso martini. It's all I had in the fridge, and I didn't want to get out all the things and, shake it up and everything. I wanted to get the ball rolling, so I'm drinking a canned Loverboy espresso martini. Should we do a Booze and Brews review? It's literally -0. It tastes like battery acid. I know I've done a Booze and Booze review about the Loverboy espresso martini before, and I kind of gave it a 5, I think, because it was so strong. I guess I just turned into 18 and was like, yeah, Four Loko, battery acid, Everclear, I'm getting fucked up. But 32, that's not what we want. So it's a 0 for me, dog. But this is the last one in my fridge. So that's that. You guys, we have so much to talk about this week. But before we get into that, I have a little funny story to tell you guys. I'm in the market of making new friends and having such a fun fire sign summer, to be honest. I'm really trying to manifest it. I'm trying to have a vibe, get a vibe, be a vibe. I'm trying to vibe. And anywho, so I, quote, joined this, I'm always in Facebook groups. You know me. I live for Facebook groups. I live for a WhatsApp chat. I live for a fun on weekends chat. I have FOMO when it comes to that stuff. I need to know what's going on in the city. I think it's really great for networking purposes, and I like making friends and stuff through there. So anyways, long story short, one of those things popped up over the week, and I joined because, I'm chronically online, so I was one of the OGs that joined. Anywho, went out with some of the girls, and I knew this is where I fucked up. Personally, this is where I fucked up. They wanted to go to the local bar that I always talk shit about. And why do I still go to the, quote, local bar? I have no idea. I need help, not rehab, just FOMO help or something. I don't really know. And I knew that's where I fucked up, but I will say the local bar, never in my life have seen the hottest guys that I ever have until that day. I don't know if I was ovulating. I made a comment. Another girl made a comment. So I was like, okay, it can't just be me. And I wasn't ovulating, actually. So I was like, oh my God, there are actually hot people here. We should mingle. No one wanted to mingle. I was out on my own. So whatever. But I go to sit down, and one of the girls is we're all getting to know each other. And she's just I was like, hey, I'm Rhea. And she's like, oh, I thought your name was Raya. And I was like, no, I get that a lot. It's Rhea. And she's like, dead ass looks at me with her boyfriend, mind you, on a GNO. But I digress. And is like, why isn't it Raya? And I'm just like, because it's not? I don't know. I've never been asked why my name is not Raya. That's just a different name. I guess maybe I've been thinking about this for a couple days. I guess I could equate it to a Brianna situation, but I think you know, if people's name is Brianna, then it's Brianna, not Brianna. You know what I mean? Like, that's a different name. So, like, it's just, and Raya is completely different. Like, to me, that's like a totally different name than Rhea. And I was like, nope, it's Rhea. 2 letters are repeating. And I was like, it's phonetic. Like, you know, it's spelled the way that it sounds. And they were like, oh my gosh, so it's not short for something? Like, kind of double down and was like, you know, why is that your name? And I was like, I don't know, girl. Like, it's just not my name. And I was like, what would it be short for? And they were like, Andrea. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess, like, you know, some people go by Drea, which I feel like they got that from me. But I go, oh, okay, I can kind of see your point. But no, it's Rhea. And they kind of like weren't letting it go. So I was having some fun with it. I just thought that was so funny. So like anybody whose name has been mispronounced or like, you know, your name is Jose and not John, like I feel your pain. Like it's literally a completely different name. Like I don't know what to tell you, but I thought that was so funny. I also almost got hit by a car this weekend. Walking. Pedestrian. This guy was like leaving the valet and was talking to like the valet guy, like, you know, driving and like talking and like, you know, operating a vehicle, probably drunk. I'm just going to assume probably drunk, and literally was 2 inches away from hitting me. And I said, oh my God, you almost hit me. He said, well, get the fuck out of the way, and like sped off. So I was really pissed about that. And I thought about it like, I was so pissed, like on the way home, I was like, that guy should have fucking hit me. Like, I don't know what kind of mental state I am, guys. I've restarted therapy again with a new therapist, actually. So please forgive me. And then I thought about it on the way home and I was like, no, like, obviously by the grace of God, I was saved, because I don't think had that guy have hit me, I, you know, would be here. I would have been half a body. I would have lost a leg. Like, I think he would have hit me and kept going and like using me as a speed bump versus like, oh shit, I just hit a person. You know what I mean? That got really dark for a second, but I did go to the cops and said, oh, this guy just tried to hit me. I have his license plate. Do you want to see it? Sheriff, bulletproof vest, body cam, combat boots, gun. Not really. I'm only interested in the business that pays me, which is the bar. Oh, excuse the fuck out of me. I asked him for his badge number and wouldn't give it to me. So roll that clip. Get that body cam footage. And then on Monday, I was walking into the office and a police officer opened the door for me and held it. And I just walked in with my head held high and I didn't say anything. And that's on taking your power back. So it's the little things for the little people. But yeah, what an interesting dynamic. Oh, also what I think is so... People are so funny. People are such sheeps. And not that I'm like bragging about going to like some low life loser bar. But like, I was like, okay, like I'm kind of in the mood to mingle, like whatever. Let me go check out this other bar really quick. I'm like sober at this point. I'm like doing a lap. I mean, I only had one beer, like, you know, so I was just like in the mood to mix and mingle and whatever. And I walked down the street. This is before I got hit by the car. Mind you, on the sidewalk, you know, doing all the things, being very aware, whatever. And the line to this bar to get in is like 2 bars deep. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a dumbass. I'm going to go on the side entrance. And I went through the driveway to the valet, up the stairs to the side door, had my ID out, fully ready to show somebody, and just walked in. And that's some boss ass bitch shit. And I know that sounds so stupid coming from like, you know, again, a loser ass bar. But I'm just like, you guys, what are we doing? We're waiting in the line. We're paying $20. No, we're not. We're not. So anyways, don't be a sheep. Okay, let me muster up the strength to drink this. Oh, great. I'm like literally going to throw up. Not an advert. Anyways, all right, let's get into today's episode. If you guys are loving the show, please rate 5 stars anywhere you get podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and subscribe on YouTube. Share with your friends. Tag us at coffee.meets.vodka in all of your stories. And don't forget to get your hats on coffeemeetsvodka.com. So Love Island premiered. I guess this is how I find out that I wasn't cast. Oh, yikes. Well, thank God, because I wasn't working on my body. Oh, whoops. And I didn't even get, you know how there's rumors, rumbling, talks about how, you know, before they film and announce the Love Island cast, that they do like a 2-week pre-trial with just randos. And you don't know who's going to be on actual Love Island and who's just like a test run. I didn't even get a call for the test run. I don't even think I'm getting a call for Casa Amor. They're really missing out. Love Island, count your days. You're really missing out on a star here, baby. But speaking of Love Island, I'm not caught up. I'm not really watching this season. I know everybody's like, oh my God, it's so good. I thought last season was really good. Obviously, I think UK is the best. It's superior. But I have seen the last couple episodes of Love Island US. Huda's crazy. She's literally crazy. I'm sorry to say. And also, like, I don't know, and I guess, like, equal opportunity employer, okay, but I don't really know why they casted a mom when you're, like, the hottest you've ever been in your life, the youngest, the hottest, the most thriving, et cetera, et cetera. Like, yeah, if I was a man, I wouldn't want to be, and I had my choice, my pick of the litter in Fiji, at the Love Island villa, I'm not picking a mom. Sorry, I'm not. And I don't know. Is that mean? I know moms need love too, but baby, I think she's a baby mama for a reason. Like, we're seeing it play out. It's a crazy dynamic, and I just can't believe on this last episode they saved her ass when she was in the bottom 3 to like go home. And then the one before that when Amaya was like, no, it can't be. It can't be. You can't really write this. It is great TV. So I would like to know your thoughts on Love Island. Oh my God, justice is served. Karen Reed, not guilty of her retrial. So she got acquitted on the first trial, found not guilty. I know that's right. She was charged, however, with a DUI, and I honestly think she just got a year probation. And they were like, well, because of her incriminating, bitch, yeah, she's like, I was blackout in a blizzard. Mind you, it's still mind-boggling to me, the blizzard part. Like, I'm sorry, you're like driving drunk in the snow? Like, I don't really get it. I don't know. I mean, we have gone out. I've gone out before, not me. I have gone out, but like I've gone home before this happened. When there was like flash flood or like hurricane or something, you know, when you're in your early 20s, I've gone home before it flooded. But I do remember one time when we were younger, we all went to the bar and some of my friends' cars got flooded, like downtown. So I guess that's the same thing. We're like, I don't know. It's just drizzling, but snow, it's still crazy to me. They need to go after whoever the fuck murdered John O'Keefe. I mean, justice for him, justice for Karen. I'm so glad that her trial's over. She needs to sue everybody and their mom. The prosecution or the defense, sorry, I've watched so much Law & Order and I still don't even know the fucking verbiage, needs to go over the Alberts, the McCabe's. All of those people are fucking sketch. The cover up, the corruption is so beyond. It's so sad. You know, and you know, they're talking about how, or I guess it's really known that the Boston Police Department is one of the most corrupt police departments in the nation. Allegedly, this is just from word on the street that I've heard, and you know, people that live there and whatever, but I think it goes to show that the majority of police departments are corrupt. I mean, I know I'm not comparing, you know, me getting hit by a car to this trial, but it's like, you guys don't care. I've been stalked before. This is some deep, dark trauma. And, you know, they were like, well, you're not dead yet. So right now it's not really an issue. Deadass, they told me that to my face. in Houston, Aiden, and the Van Nuys Police Department. So, okay. Well, when I do, just know I'll come back to haunt ya. I think justice for Chloe, justice for John O'Keefe, justice for Karen Reed. So we have 1 out of the 3. Poor Chloe. I mean, that's the dog, the German Shepherd. She knows everything. If dogs could talk, I'm so glad. I'm just so glad she's not going to jail. She should be on Dancing with the Stars. She needs to be on Trader Season 5. She needs to be the new, like, John Walsh or something like that. Like, her career is about to take off, I feel. She needs to be on Real Housewives of Boston. She needs to be on Nancy Grace, like, all of the things. I'm ready for her TV moment. I'm ready for justice to be served. And yeah. Okay, you guys, also very exciting news. I am going to BravoCon this year. I'm so gagged. I'm so excited. I'm on the wrong side of TikTok because I need more Bravo people, more fans, friends, pop culture enthusiasts to follow me and interact, because I'm just on a weird side of TikTok and I would like to get out of this algorithm. So please, if you're going to BravoCon 2025, I've joined a Facebook group, but I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'm so excited. Tonight I'm going to have a little chat with my friend Amanda Bella of Bella Talks TV. You guys should follow her if you don't already. And we're going to plan BravoCon. I think we're trying to do a little meetup, a little meet and greet, a little friend vibe. So I'm so into that. I will keep you posted on those details. I'm going to probably talk ad nauseum, from now until November about BravoCon and then after, because I want to be able to connect with the right audience and just make some friends, plan some meetups. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going to be on my type A shit. Okay. Well, I do say that. And then sometimes I get really overwhelmed with the planning and then I'm like, oh, okay, let me nap. Well, anyways, I'm trying not to do that. So I'm going to BravoCon. If you are going to BravoCon, drop it below. Let's link up. DM me, comment, subscribe, send me an SOS, do anything so I know that you're going to BravoCon and that we can link up and all have a gay old time. Okay, I know I keep saying that I'm gonna watch the Summer House reunion. I haven't even finished the Summer House season. I just don't care. Now, I did go to dinner with a girlfriend the other day, and she said that Carl was crying about his teeth, that he was really insecure about his teeth. And I was like, well, she goes, you just need to watch it. It really gave me compassion for him. I said, probably not me. I don't care. I just don't care. And she's like, no, I think you should. So anyway, she wouldn't tell me about it. She's like, you have to watch it. Something about Carl's teeth is going to give me more compassion. I think not, but I could I could stand corrected. Also on that note, that night that me and my girlfriend went out to sushi, I was like, oh yes, let me go home. And I was flirting with this, tall waiter, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go back to my place. Oh my God, is that so funny? You guys, listen. Anyways, and I don't like making out. So I'm like, okay, if we're making out, we're fucking. There's a 1 to 100 step and we gotta, what? Oh my God. And I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed to admit this. And I don't think this is me, right? I was like, okay, let's fuck. Let's do it. And he's like, I don't want to take advantage of you. Get out. Get out. Get out. I have to say, #MeToo ruined it for everybody. It's sometimes it's not, I don't know. It's just sometimes it's not, sometimes you just want to be thrown up against the wall. And then these guys are like too PC. It's like, but you know, it goes back to having EQ and being able to read the room. Like, am I off base here? I just, you know, and then what's up with the guys not being able to get it up? They don't have Adam's apple. They're asking their girls to inject testosterone into their ass. Babe, what is going on? What's going on? Because I'm not getting it. I'm not liking this new generation of men, and it really sucks to be a straight woman in America because I don't really know what's going on, and I'm opening a whole other can of worms. If you guys want me to talk about this, like, I so will, because I mean, and you know what else? A little side note reflection. Like, I've known this for a while, but I think I've really accepted this, that all of my ex-boyfriends hate me. Like, every single person I've ever dated, I've ever kind of had a fling with, they truly hate me to my core. And I don't necessarily think it's me, Rhea, although my bold personality and opinions and everything definitely adds to the hatred. But I think in general, they like inherently like hate women. And that's a huge red flag that I have recognized within myself. You know, these mama's boys, they don't care about women's rights. They don't care about anybody else but themselves. And mind you, I'm not just dating white people. That's scary. Isn't that scary, America? I don't know. I don't know. And then on top of that, they can't get it up. Please, for the love of God, tell me I'm not alone in this. It's the Adderall, it's the drugs, it's the alcohol, it's the intimacy issues, it's the porn addiction. The list goes on and on. You're gay. I am really vulnerable right now. I'm really putting myself on a limb. I hope to God at least one other person can connect with this, and please make me feel less alone. It's crazy. So I don't know. And then, okay, listen. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I went out with this guy. So like the pendulum swung like the other way. It's like I'm dating all these like kind of crazy insecure mama's boys who have like intimacy issues. And then the pendulum swung. And then I was dating a guy, very short-lived, who like always wanted to fuck. And like I asked him what he wanted in a relationship or what he was looking for in a relationship. And he was like, I want to fuck morning, noon, and night. Like, you have a headache. Like, that's not okay. That's not an excuse. You don't feel good. Tough shit. Blah, blah, blah. Huh? Whoa. The lack of empathy and the lack of, like, I get it. You're like, yeah, the idea is that if all your needs were met, you would be in a healthy relationship, sexually fulfilled, all those things. But I think it's a bit absurd, in my opinion, to be so direct and so blunt with it, especially once the body language of the other person has changed, the dynamic of the other person has changed, aka me, and also vocally stated, wow, that's a bit much. That's a bit intense. I'm going to have to process what you've said. Because, like, and I'm not saying you need to walk on eggshells, because then, hello, we get sushi guy being like, I don't want to take advantage of you. Okay, well, I want to be taken advantage of right now, bitch. And I fucking said that. So, like, do I need to make you sign a contract, an NDA? Do I need, like, what's going on? You know? And I just think it's like EQ. I just think like being raised right to understand, like, if he would have not doubled down the second part and been like once I said, wow, that's a little intense, I'm gonna have to like think of that, especially, you know, just, you know, knowing what I've been through, that's just like a bit much for me to digest right now. Mind you, after being at the pool all day, mind you, after drinking. That's not a conversation to be had. And sure, maybe I fucked up and opened the can of worms and asked. But I also think the doubling down was crazy after I said it was, I'm like, oh, this is intense. He goes, yeah, well, that's just what I'm looking for right now. I'm just looking to fuck. And, and not like I'm looking to fuck that he doesn't want to be in a relationship. But when he's in a relationship, that's what he expects. So it's like, he expects you to, clean the house, cook, and fuck. And there is no in between. I'm not cleaning. I'm sorry. I'm not fucking cleaning. I'm sorry. I'm not cleaning. I can't do it. It's not my DNA. I've tried. I will continue to try till I die. I have a maid. She's amazing. I will continue to try till the day I live. I'm an amazing chef. I have a career. I have a lot of things going on for me. And to me, that signifies you want a maid and you want a mom and you want a warm body to fuck. Right? You know what I feel like I'm in right now? I have lost the plot of the podcast. And I feel like I'm in a confessional on Love Island at the moment. I don't know if it's this damn lover boy hitting me or I just need to get some shit off my chest. But like, can I get an amen? Like, am I alone in this? Please, Lord, don't let me be alone. Anyways, let's get back to the show. Okay. You guys, remember when I said that Brooklyn Beckham is having some rifts between his family because Romeo is dating Brooklyn's ex-girlfriend, who, mind you, Brooklyn Beckham also dated Lexi from Summer House, who is not returning. And allegedly, she didn't admit this, but allegedly she also dated Drake. I kind of love that. Shout out to Toronto. Can I also talk about, I'm sorry, before I go to the Beckhams, can I also talk about this? I want to say something. Paige, Sierra, and Amanda always brag about being girls. They're not. They were mean as hell to Lexi. I thought this last season of Summer House was so disconnected. I've said this before. I've said this multiple times. 26-year-old partying with 40-year-olds. Sierra, Amanda, and Paige laying in bed. I love to bed rock, but babe, get a different show. They're mad at Emerald for fucking. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. You hating on Emerald, you hating on Lexi because she's with loser ass Jesse or alienating her from the house is just not girl behavior for me. And I do think Lexi is really classy. I didn't like her on Summer House. I thought she was given such a disservice being casted on Summer House. So I hope this launches her into a different trajectory and another like amazing show. But yeah, I just don't like really that they claim that they're girls because they're only girls to like their friends, which is fine. So just say that you're a ride or die for your friend and not that, because to me, a girl's girl is like, you're nice to everybody, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends to everybody, but you don't immediately be like, ew, who's that girl? What do you mean? You're cast on a show. She's your coworker. Like, get to know her. You know what I mean? Also, side note, Bailey, who they edited out of Summer House, got engaged to the boyfriend that she said she wasn't dating all summer. So congrats to her. Anyways, back to the Beckhams. Romeo and his girlfriend broke up, the one that was causing all of the rifts between the family and Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz and, everything like that. But now Brooklyn is still saying that he wants to distance himself from his family. I have to tell you, I low-key really ride for the Beckhams. Like, I love every single one of them. I don't really know. Obviously, I know the parents quote really well. I watched their documentary. Obviously, I've been such a stan of Spice Girls since I was a baby. I was always Baby Spice. And one time, so much so, I would always practice my British accent. And mind you, before I put my Apple Maps on Australian, like back in 2015, I had an impeccable British accent. I know no one will believe me because it was like, pre-everything filmed. But I really did. And then it like got kind of mixed with the British and Australian, so now I can't really do it. But when I was younger and I would watch Spice Girls, I'd be like, mommy, like my fucking voice, I remember got stuck multiple times in a British accent. I was like, Mom, I can't, I don't want to do it now. I'm so embarrassed. But like my voice like would not go back to normal, so I had to, I love Spice Girls. Apparently they're going to do a world tour. Victoria doesn't want to. I honestly, I wouldn't if I was her. Like, let the sheep lie, let, like, like exit on a high. God, and I love her as a fashion designer. Like, who would have known? And I want to know the lore of, like, was this like America's Got Talent before America's Got Talent happened? Like, how the fuck did they all link up as Spice Girls? You know what I mean? Oh my God, I hate that. Anyways, love the Beckham documentary, obviously. I talked about it a lot. So my point in saying that, and when I went to London, I really did Google their address, and I was like on the street where they lived. Oh, and then I did so much walking, you guys. I'm literally a lazy fuck. I did so much walking. I was like, I literally can't even walk down that street and then come back to go back to where we're going. Like, no, like, hey, Beckham's, like, I couldn't. So I respected their privacy. I didn't go down the street. But apparently Romeo and his girlfriend broke up, which I think was good because that was the one that was like 10 years his senior. And I think that's a bit much at that age. That's just me. Okay, we're 2 episodes into Bravo's Next Gen NYC, which is a spinoff, if you will, of the kids of Real Housewives making their way in New York City. We have the insufferable Brooks Marks, Gia Giudice, Riley Burris, Ariana Bierman. Is she Bierman? Zolciak Bierman? I think she's Bierman. Who else do we have that's famous? I think it's just them. And then with their friends, there's this guy on there. Mind you, they're all 22, like around 22, 23, maybe 24. Charlie is the oldest. He's 29 years old. He said that he's dated Lindsay Lohan when he was in high school and that she would come pick him up from high school. And all of his teachers and his friends and classmates would love that. Honestly, iconic behavior for both. And I have to say, like, I made a comment to my friend saying that, like, oh my God, he looks exactly like the type of guy that Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan would date. And he was like, what does that mean? I'm like, yeah, you're too young to know what that means. But if you know, you know. And I think that's like really kind of iconic of Charlie, even though he's like super insufferable. So he gets a $10,000 a month allowance from his dad, Anwar, who is really like very cute, by the way. I would love to be Charlie's stepmom. Could you imagine? I don't know if he's married. I don't, no disrespect to your mom or your wife. Sorry, Anwar. I don't know what that is. I think he's like European or something. Anywho, his dad is like a commodities trader, makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. Give his son a $10,000 a month allowance. So he says that his job is investing in Bitcoin with the money that his dad gives him. Okay, look, I'm not mad at it. I really am not, because at least you are trying to make something of yourself, I guess. And, you know, stop relying on the $10,000 a month allowance from your dad and like start making your own money. I mean, I guess. Sure. Okay. I honestly like the cast. I don't know them enough. You know, the secondary cast, the ones that aren't the famous housewife children. I don't know them enough to, you know, kind of state my piece. Georgia, everybody's like scared of Georgia because she doesn't wash her hands and she touched the bottom of Gia's shoe, which I do think is kind of crazy. And then, but like Georgia has a lot of lore. Like Georgia, she lost her phone after filming like episode 1 or whatever. And so it's episode 2, she's bringing her laptop everywhere so she can like text, and like, she's just like, yeah, like I don't know. It's so Gen Z. It's so funny. I have to say, I thought this was a show about the kids, and yet I've seen Meredith Marks on both episodes of Next Gen NYC. Brooks cannot cut the cord. He needs to be removed from the teat. And I know I'm probably going to get back. Why am I getting backlash? I'm probably going to get backlash from this about, you know, not really loving Brooks, but I don't. And I won't, you know, I won't say anything more. So also, Ariana is dating the Zaxby's founder's son. If you don't know, it's like a chicken, like a drive-through chicken place, kind of like Raising Cane's or KFC. I think I would probably equate it more to Raising Cane's. It's like in the South. And I think the franchise owns something else. Anyways, he founded that whole fucking company. Amazing. So he's a billionaire. His dad is a billionaire. And then Ariana and her boyfriend have moved to New York for the summer to start a fashion line. Also, in that same breath, KZB, Kim Zolciak Bierman, which I think she's just Kim Zolciak now, they had to be escorted out of their house, her and Croy, a couple of weeks ago due to it being foreclosed on, sold at auction, etc., and them not wanting to leave. Very sad situation. She calls Ariana for money. And I am on Hudson's side. I feel really bad for Ariana because, you know, her and Brielle and I guess all of the kids, you know, grew up on camera and grew up with this certain lifestyle. And I do think they do really ride hard for their family. But, you know, Ariana admits that all of the money that she made, you know, I guess prior to turning 18 or something, like from the show, from the deals that she did, modeling, whatever, she has not seen a dime. She doesn't know how much she made, and it's all gone. Her mom spent it all. And it's really sad to hear that, and sad that, you know, Kim will call her for money and she'll Zelle her money. And Hudson makes a good point. He's like, that's cash. Like, she could be gambling with it. She could be buying booze. Like, how do you know that's for the kids and blah, blah, blah. And I am glad. I mean, her and Hudson have been together for like on and off for 9 years, I think she said. So I do hope they like get married and, you know, one day, but he does seem to be a good voice of reason. I just hope Ariana's family dynamic doesn't put a wedge into their relationship, because I do think it's time to grow up. It's time to mature. It's time to, you know, put a boundary with the family. And I know that's harsh to hear. It's harsh to hear coming from Hudson. It's harsh to hear coming from me, like some stranger on the internet, armchair expert, third eye view, you know, or bird's eye view. But I know what it's like to be in that situation. And obviously Ariana has a heart of gold, and her mom knows that. And I think it's very sad that her mom puts her in that situation. So I hope that she gets strength to assert boundaries. And, you know, sure, it's fine and great to help out your family. I mean, you know, I think that's the point of having generational wealth, right? But it's knowing when and what to help them. You have to like provide for yourself first. You have to fill your own cup, and you have to eat first before you can help others. And, you know, I used to think when people said that was really selfish. I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? No, because I was always pouring from an empty cup, and I was always trying to help people when I couldn't even help myself. And also, you know, putting good energy out there, hoping I'd get the same in return, and you don't. And I think that's a lesson in itself, is to, you know, have those boundaries and to fill your own cup first. So I'm really hoping Ariana sees the light, and Hudson seems like a good voice of reason. So hopefully, you know, they're good for each other and they just continue to grow. Okay, moving on. Oh my God. And just like that, you guys, I don't think I was doing the podcast when the first season came on. I think I was on a hiatus. I have so much to say about this, and it's just, I'm hate watching it because I have to, because I feel like it's good content for you guys, and it's like almost past the point of hate watching. But I have to tell you, like, I don't know who's writing the show. I don't know who wrote season 1, I don't know how they got a season 2. I sure as fuck don't know how they got a season 3. First episode, we have Carrie and Aiden, you know, doing the long distance thing because his son almost, you know, got into a car wreck and is having issues. So he needs to be home in Virginia, and he tells Carrie to wait for him for 5 years. Mind you, these people are 60. Do you have 5 minutes? I don't know. So they're not even texting, talking, whatever. And Aiden gets drunk and calls her and is trying to have phone sex with her in his truck, and then honks the horn and then whatever. But before he honks the horn, mind you, this man is 60, 50, 60. Licking his hand and using that as lube for the phone sex. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see geriatric people having phone sex. And I said geriatric. And I'm sorry. But no one wants to see that. Like, no one wants to see that. And then Carrie's faking it as if she didn't write a sex column and wouldn't be into this. And I'm just like, it's so off brand. She was so uncomfortable saying the sex podcast ad, and then the whole network had to shut down because she didn't want to do the ad, and now she doesn't even want to have phone sex at 60 with her boyfriend, and it's just crazy. And then Seema's trying to have long distance virtual sex with her director boyfriend and burns her house down, or her penthouse down, whatever, and sets her hair on fire. It's just so shticky. You know what I mean? It's just so slapstick. Like, it's so obvious. And then in the first episode, now I have to say, much like Che Diaz, when I came around to it, I was like, damn, once they killed off Che Diaz, I was like, damn, I was starting to like Che. It's like the only character that's not that insufferable. And I don't know if it's because it's like kind of a new character, so it's like we don't have expectations. But I have to say, Miranda's sex life is like really like holding the show together. She is sober, ends up going to a bar, tries to hit on Brady's old babysitter, doesn't realize that it's Brady's old babysitter, who's now a lesbian, or always was, I don't know. And she's like, oh my God, yes, I know you. Yeah, you're Brady's old babysitter. Like, yes, I love that. Yeah, I'm sober. I'm in the program. Anyways, whatever. And so then I think she like leaves that bar and she goes somewhere else, whatever. Long story short, Rosie O'Donnell ends up being her love interest. And Rosie O'Donnell ends up being a virgin nun lesbian. And she wakes up to Miranda the next day. She's like, oh my God, that was like so amazing. And Miranda's like, oh my God, yes. And she's like, that was my first time. She's like, oh, with a woman? And she's like, ever. I was a nun before this. I was a devout, Catholic, like blah, blah, blah. So Miranda not only takes this nun's virginity, she's also a tourist. And so Carrie can't think of what's worse, dating a tourist and meeting her in Times Square, or fucking a nun, a lesbian virgin nun. I don't know. It's like the writing is so bad. And I have to say, so in this last episode, Carrie is like overanalyzing this emoji and overanalyzing just kind of what to say to Aiden, because they're not supposed to be talking and they're supposed to be giving space. And then she gets, a book thing in Virginia, and like they're having like a weird talking or not talking. And so she's like, should I get this table? Yes or no? And then he sends like an emoji thumb down without any words. And she spends 3 days over analyzing it with her friends and whatever. And I have to say, if I'm 60 analyzing an emoji over a past 20, 30-year relationship of an ex-boyfriend, and we've had all this history, and we've met in Abu Dhabi, and it was never big because I killed him off, and now it's always you, and I am over analyzing an emoji at 60, same issues and dating woes that I've been having in my 20s and 30s, put me down. No, thank you. And subscribe. I will now become the nun. No, thanks. What? An emoji at 60? Please. And then you have Anthony and Charlotte's dynamic, and Anthony kind of being this, Stephen of Stamford, God rest his soul. And I still am so bitter about how they did him dirty, and how because he died of cancer, and they wrote him off of being like, oh, sorry, Anthony, I want to have an open relationship. Like, we're getting a divorce. And like, that was that. And it was just like so stupid. Anyways, like, he buys a brick and mortar of his sandwich shop or whatever, right? He goes to show Charlotte, and Charlotte's like, oh my God, Anthony, they stole your idea. And I'm like, babe, Charlotte, why the fuck are you yelling all the time? Why are you so surprised? Why are your eyes so big? What is going on? Like, Charlotte was never fucking like this. And also never this stupid. Like, what do you mean they stole your idea, bitch? He bought a brick and mortar. What? I don't know. It's so weird. She's always yelling, and tizzy, and it's weird. And, you know, on this last episode, Harry tries to be hip. He's like, I'm the SpongeBob partner, or whatever the fuck they call him at the, you know, at the firm, because, you know, he's a divorce lawyer. That's how him and Charlotte met. And she's like, honey, I know what we can do to be more hip. I want to sell these paintings. The girls are going out to the after parties and the after parties, and we got to do it. So he goes with Carrie, quote, the fashionista, okay, to go buy jeans, and they're so stiff and whatever. And anyways, he goes to the club with Charlotte, and he's like, okay, I have to pee. And long story short, because the jeans are so stiff and he's so old, he can't get them down, so he pisses himself. Huh? And then he's like, Charlotte, I just pissed myself. And then he's like, well, okay, sorry, Charlotte. I pissed myself, so I won't be going to the after party with you. This old man is tired, and I'm retiring. But really quick, while I have piss on my jeans, take a picture of me for the boys. Takes a picture with flash, and he goes, wow, thank God these jeans are so dark. They don't show the piss. Oh, my God. She's like, oh, it's okay, honey. I'll see you later. Babe, what? Like, I don't know what's going on. I really also want to know why they abandoned. It sounded like one of the storylines they were going to get in season 1 is that Harry was going to have testicular cancer. In my opinion, that's what it sounded like when they went to the doctor and he, like, no sperm was coming out or something. Remember, like, that whole thing? And then we never heard anything else. And then now it's kind of looking like Charlotte has, like, a pill addiction, which would track and be on brand. But I don't really know if that's on brand for Charlotte. She doesn't seem like, yes, she wants to be a wasp. But remember when she went to go meet up in Sex and the City with, like, her old sorority girlfriends? And she was like, I just want to get fucked, you know? Just really fucked. Like, you know, and then they were like, no, we don't know. And then she's like, oh, maybe Carrie, Samantha, and Miranda really are my friends. Like, I don't really fit in with these wasp bitches. I just can kind of play them like a fiddle. So, like, I don't really see Charlotte kind of fitting in with this whole, like, kind of benzo storyline of, like the Upper East Side trad wife, you know? I don't know. And now Rock is back to Rose. Did I miss something? God, it's such a mess. It's such a mess, and, like, truly the worst way. And, you know, now Sarah Jessica Parker is doing all this press tour, I guess, to promote season 3 and just like that. She was on Call Her Daddy recently. And then they were talking about Labubu's. I don't give a fuck about that. And then she was on Howard Stern and she goes, you know, would you believe that I don't really watch the show. I never have. I've never really watched Sex and the City. I certainly don't watch it just like that. I just kind of film my scenes and I leave. Mind you, executive producer, I feel like she's written some episodes, directed some episodes. I know Cynthia Nixon has directed some of And Just Like That. Yeah, it tracks that you're not watching it because you don't know what the fuck's going on. Howard Stern was like, so you didn't see that they made John Corbett, like, lick his hand and, you know, try to masturbate to you at the phone sex? She goes, no, I didn't see that. Oh, gosh. Yeah, oh, gosh. Crazy writing. Crazy writing. Crazy. Terrible. In the worst fucking way. And what a really sad way to do such an iconic and epic series. You know, that I feel like it's really watering down what the series is about. And of course, like, watching it at 30 and watching Sex and the City at 20 is completely different, right? You at 30, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, Carrie's the problem. And, well, Carrie, okay, it's not all big, and Carrie this, and, well, that's a bad friend. Like, Carrie was mean to Samantha and blah, blah, you know, and, like, oh, well, she, you know, was a bad friend to Miranda. Like, you see things through a different light. But I also think that's, like, part of growing and being in your, like, 20s and 30s. And mind you, the Sex and the City started when she was 32. So, which is also kind of crazy. But I get it. But you're kind of doing the same thing at 32 that you are at 60. Oh my God, no, thank you. And she's probably gonna fuck this gardener, and, like, or Seema's gonna fuck the gardener. I will say on this last episode of And just like that, I will say I was very Seema coded. Where like, you know, Seema hires a matchmaker and she's like has never been married and blah, blah, blah. And she's just like go get her opinionated boss bitch woman. But, you know, then she tries to do the matchmaking and she's wearing like some trad wife outfit and, you know, pastels and all these things. And anyways, she's like, no, I like who I am. And she goes on all these dates and she's like, no. And, you know, I do think that there's nothing wrong with that. And I think, you know, Seema actually is kind of likable. I do think they're trying too hard to be Samantha. And I have to say, why is she never working? If she's a realtor, like some high-end realtor, even a partner, like, babe, you got to keep up that penthouse driver lifestyle and all the bags, the Hermes, the Birkins. Like, you got to keep up that lifestyle. Like, you're too busy being involved with Carrie and going on, you know, this vacation to Virginia and to Carrie's book tour, you know, to like make a deal happen. And then Ryan Serhant comes, you know, and they're getting he's getting a little bit shit, and I don't really like that. I really like Ryan. I think he's a good person. I've never met him, but I've read all of his books. You know, he moved to New York because he wanted to be an actor, and obviously you can see it. I think that he uses ADHD in such a fantastic way. Paris Hilton as well, side note. But I think that he was fine. He had like 2 sentences to say in the line, and apparently Seema's 90-year-old business partner is like retiring. She didn't even know he was 90, and then Ryan Serhant is taking over the firm, and she's like, you sold it out from under me, like blah blah blah. And he like they both didn't know each other, and if you're this big bag broker, like you should be knowing each other. So I don't know, that was weird. It's just weird writing. I would like Ryan Serhant to be like a series regular. Sure, why not? Like, fuck, the show can't get any worse. So Ryan, get your 15 minutes of fame. You know what I'm saying? God, it's so bad. It's so bad. All right, I could go on, and I guess I did. Are any of you guys watching 90 Day Fiancé Hunt for Love? A new 90 Day Fiancé franchise spinoff, because we cannot get enough. I tell you, it's basically 90 Day Fiancé single life mixed with regular people. So this is where I fucked up, and I need to sign up for season 2, I tell you. Because I love the dynamic, to be honest. So it's, who's on it? Colty, Usman, Courtney from 90 Day the Other Way. I don't remember seeing her episode. Jennifer and Tim is crazy. Having Jennifer and Tim on there, they're exes. I'll get into that in a second. Rob of Rob and Sophie, who was just on The Last Resort when they went to couples therapy and like, you know, whatever. I guess they got divorced. Rob is the hottest one, okay? But still loser behavior. I'm telling you, as somebody who lived in LA, how did Rob live in such a shithole? He made Sophie go in the outhouse. Like, babe, I don't know where in fucking LA you were living, but that was truly the trenches, Rob. And you know what? He moved out there to act, and I'm glad he found his acting path with this 90 Day Fiancé franchise. Chantel is on there, Family Chantel of Chantel and Pedro. Her whole thing is she kissed a girl who was her best friend, and now she's questioning her sexuality. Okay. I surprisingly am kind of like loving Colty these couple episodes in. I mean, God, he's been married 3 times. I've been married 0. So I don't know what that says about me, about him. I'm not too sure. Should I be comparing myself to Colty? I don't really know. But he's interested in Courtney, and I kind of love them together. Courtney is like blindsided by Soulja Boy, not to get confused with Soulja Boy, tell him. Usman, who is a international superstar rapper in Africa, was married to, what the fuck was her name? The blonde Lisa, baby girl Lisa. Usman was married to baby girl Lisa, and then he was dating Kim. And dude, Kim's son is fucking hot. Like, I'm glad they do Pillow Talk together. I don't watch it, but I've seen clips, and like, I'm like, yeah, you get your 15 minutes of fame. I think his name is Jamal. I really like him. Anyways, Usman's on there. Don't know why. Again, and apparently Courtney and him met up in Turkey or something, and then he ditched her. It's like such a mess, you guys. You have to watch it, because also on this is mixed in just randos from all over the nation to date these 90-day fiancé people. And it's a great concept in my opinion. So let me tell you the tea. Tim and Jennifer dated 6 years ago, mind you. They never had sex. When Tim went to go visit her in Brazil, I want to say Colombia. And she was like, let me tell you the tea, guys. And she tells Rob and... Is it Rob and Usman? Anyways, I thought it was going to be juicy as hell. It really wasn't that juicy. She goes, well, when Tim came to visit me, he did not want to have sex. We went to the strip club, and he paid for male strippers to dance on me while he was watching, and he kind of got off on it, but then we still never had sex. And the rumor is that, like, Tim is gay. And Tim and, like, Veronica, his ex-fiance or ex-wife or whatever, who he went on 90 Day Fiancé. Or no, I guess they weren't originally on there. I guess he signed up. The lore is years ago, Tim signed up with 90 Day Fiancé, and him and Veronica, like, used to be, like, common law married. But, like, Veronica is, like, she's just very dominant. Okay, that's a good word. Veronica's very dominant, and Tim is a little more submissive and a little more flamboyant, and he likes colors, and he's not afraid to experiment with things. And so the lore is, like, you know, that they were each other's beards. Now, I don't think that's true, but allegedly that's just, you know, the lore. So now you're caught up to speed. So Tim has been on 90 Day Fiancé twice, and most recently he was with Jennifer, who he went to go visit 6 years ago in her country. They never hooked up. They didn't make it. I think he was there for like 2 weeks or something, because you go test it and kind of see if they're going to be together or whatever. And they were already engaged, and, you know, they wanted to test it and do like this, start the K1 visa process. Long story short, they break up. They have had like a very tumultuous like breakup since then, like for two people who have never fucked. Like, it's so crazy. And the producers are so messy casting both of them. And then they did this challenge to where the girls stay in the hot tubs, and then yeast infection. And then the guys had to travel to each different hot tub, like speed dating. And then when it got to Tim and Jennifer, he like fell in and almost fell on her, and she like screamed. And I don't want to like make fun of his body, but people were like, it did kind of look like E.T., and I have to agree. But that shit was so funny. It was the longest 2 minutes. They were like, this is so awkward. Anyways, they're just fighting the whole time at this resort in Mexico, and it is so fucking funny. So, you know, the gossip's going around. People are going around like telling, you know, about like Jennifer and Tim, and like how Tim is gay, and, you know, she's sabotaging all of his other connections with other women. It's hilarious. And then Elise is just, you know, a normal citizen, rando person cast, not on 90 Day Fiancé, kind of coupled up with Rob, 90 Day Fiancé-er. Like night one, they were making out, like hardcore, like dry humping, blah, blah, blah. Well, he wakes up to regret it in the morning, because I guess she kind of goes around being like, yeah, I love anal. Like, I love it. And blah, blah. And like, just like, I don't know. So then he was like, oh, I don't want to put my eggs into one basket, because like we were making out hardcore. And like, then I got too deep too soon. And now he's like retreating, and now it's causing a divide. It's just so good. I mean, Rob is the hottest one there, but I still think he's kind of a loser. Sorry, I hate to say it. Okay, quick update on Love Hotel. The season finale was this week, and Luann and James are still going strong, actually. She was on Watch What Happens Live after, which is interesting. She's the only couple still going strong. I think they're like in an open relationship. You know, it's like when they see each other, and then when they don't, they don't. I don't know. So she's having fun because she can still do her cabaret. And fuck it. You know, understood the assignment. She was like, I'm going to have fun. This is my show. I'm plugging CountessLuann.com. Like, I mean, whatever. You know, none of the other girls are in relationship. Ashley ended up choosing Ralph, which is crazy. The daddy issues reign supreme. She didn't choose Wale. And I felt kind of bad for, I felt bad for Wale the whole time. But a part of me, like in the beginning, I was like, wait, is he kind of being a psycho with like these notes? Like not, you know, letting her, like kind of being possessive and jealous. And then I was like, no, my man had a goal in mind and he wanted Ashley, and she ended up choosing Ralph, who was the older gentleman. And anyways, now she's, I think the updates, you know, when Bravo does the updates, I think she's going back, burying her head in the sand. It's like, hey, Wale, you know. Giselle chose Theo. And then Theo ghosted her right after the show wrapped. So that's crazy. And then Shannon chose Earl. Same thing. Like ghosted her when the show wrapped. Like they are not in contact. So the only one going strong and in a relationship, quote, is Luann and James. So happy for them. Okay, the Valley. Speaking of anal, did you guys see the episode when they were sitting at the beach when, like, I guess Brittany was like, yeah, I have a date after the date night. I have a date after this. And they were sitting at the beach. Mind you, I'm just like, the traffic, the getting there, you got to get ready. That's an all-day affair to go to the fuck-ass beach. Like the beaches are, far from the Valley. Like it's at least an hour without, okay, like Malibu from my house in LA was like 45 minutes, which is a great drive. And that's without traffic. But to go to Santa Monica, to go to Hermosa Beach, like that shit's like 2 hours, you know? And then you're setting up and then you're filming. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Mind you, these people are like late 30s, early 40s. And they're, you know, getting produced, getting set up to be like, hey, let's play a game of truth or dare. And I think Janet was the one that asks Sheena. And she's like, Sheena, how big is Brock's dick? What? You guys have been dating. You're not even dating. Sorry, you're married for years. That's your husband. That's your spouse. I plead the fifth. That's my man. Little, big, deformed. That's mine. You're not going to know. Sheena goes, well, I don't think it's about size. It's more about girth. Meaning, I do kind of agree with that. But my point is I wouldn't say that about my husband. I just think that's like kind of crazy. And I guess in your group of friends at 40, I'm like, okay, first of all, I was telling my friend this because I was like, dude, listen to the cringiest shit. And he was like, no, you would say that. Okay, I would say that, but probably not on camera and not for, I wouldn't be like, Janet, truth or dare, of your husband that you've been married to for 6 years, what is the craziest place you guys have had sex? I don't give a fuck. That's you guys. Like, I don't know. Am I being like a little prude about it? I just think it's crazy. So Sheena goes on to be like, well, it's about the girth. And we did anal. And I have to say, after me and Brock did anal, I got hemorrhoids. And once I had Summer, I got hemorrhoids again. And I said, yep, I know all about that. Babe, I too have hemorrhoids. I have inner and outer hemorrhoids, which really fucking hurts when they flare. I don't really wish that upon anybody. It's like a crazy experience. I don't know where I got them. You can get them, by the way, I've never done anal, so I didn't get them from anal. But you can get them like straining too much, like, you know, working out, cheering. A lot of girls who play sports get them. Anyways, it's like a whole thing. So now we know that Brock has a thick dick. Okay. It's information that I didn't really need to know. But here we are. So, okay. And then Jana is like, I think she asked the group, like, where's the craziest place you guys have had sex? And I'm just like, hey, are we in junior high? Like, what's going on? Like, if you don't have anything in common with these people, say that. You know, I don't know. Let's ask Chat GPT for a different game. I don't know. It was crazy. So anyways, I'm also not into the storyline of them trying to make Danny an alcoholic. Like, I'm sorry. That's crazy. And if Danny told me, go over there and get Daddy a drink, I would be like, okay, Daddy. Like, okay, me, you, and Nia tonight. Like, I would play on the threesome. I would play on the daddy. I would not be offended like Jasmine. And I get it, you know, and I've listened to other commentary on this from a different perspective. she was like, Jasmine is a lesbian and in a relationship. I believe she's engaged to her girlfriend now, Melissa. And she used to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, and she's very cool. Okay. Love her. I do like Jasmine. And I totally, after her explaining this, which she didn't have to, but I do understand where she is coming from after she explained it. This Get Daddy a Drink happened like last year when they weren't filming. I guess Jasmine needed a storyline. Plus, she probably really wasn't over it and re-brought it up. Okay. Danny's apologized twice on camera about this. Jasmine won't let it go. And she says, but do you understand why, like, I'm trying to get over it and I can't let it go? And he's like, I really don't. Like, I'm sorry. And like, I'm like, thank God, because I don't either. And she said, being in a lesbian relationship, people really choose not to see our relationship for what it is because we're two women. She's like, you would not do that to me if I was in a relationship with a man or vice versa, because the man would beat your ass. I don't know if that's verbatim what she said, but I'm paraphrasing and using my own words. And Danny was like, yeah, no, I totally see. And I understand from her perspective. Like, yes, like I get it. It's two girls, being in a relationship, and it's just not really, quote, respected like normal relationships. So I totally understand, and I'm grateful that Jasmine relayed her perspective and really kind of helped the audience, even me, see, where she was coming from. Because I have to tell you, like, if Danny, I would kind of be into it if Danny was like, get Daddy a drink. Okay, babe. And then I think that would be like an inside joke between me, Danny, and Nia. Okay, also, Jax comes back from rehab and Zach delivers the most epic line. He's like, Jax notoriously said, my show, this is my show that you're on, my show. And then Zach says, well, it hasn't been for the last 30 days. So real. I love Zach. I always have loved him. I've always loved Kristen. You know me. So I love that. That's very iconic. Nia and Danny are out next season. I'm very upset about that, but totally get it. I guess we won't get to see them moving into their new Santa Clarita mansion. Very unfortunate. What's going on with Jesse and Michelle? Insufferable, those two. Like, it's crazy. Kristen had her baby. Oh my gosh, Kaya Lily Broderick. I love that. I'm so happy for her. Nia is due soon. I think any minute now. She hasn't had it yet. I just checked right before I filmed. But I'm so happy for Kristen. Huge congratulations. And Luke, I guess, congratulations to you too. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations to the both of them. I actually really like Luke and Kristen together. Such an unconventional couple. But I think Luke came in at a perfect time in Kristen's life and really calms Kristen down and like understands her and tries to understand her and isn't hellbent on making her look and feel crazy. So I love that. I'm so happy for them. I also want to say, like, Jason talking to Jax while he's in rehab, he's just like, yeah, this is the most positive that I've ever seen Jax and blah, blah, blah. Jason, are you stupid? Like, I don't know what kind of lawyer you are, but like, I don't think I would be hiring you because it seems like you're not really good at like reading the room or something. And you're definitely not good for TV. I know Janet put a gun to your head and is like, do this with me, bitch. And I get it. And okay. I'm just like, do you guys not watch the show? Especially Janet being such a fan. Like, what are you saying Jax has turned a new leaf? Jax will never turn a new leaf. And then also in that same breath, Brittany being like, she like was covering the cameras with Post-its with her mom. And then the producer comes by saying like, Brittany was on FaceTime with Jax's sister. And the producer comes by being like, Brittany, Jax just texted me this saying he can hear you and blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, oh my God, what a psycho. And I'm just like, she's like, who does that? And I'm like, Brittany, him. You were a fan. Did you not watch like seasons 1 through 4? You followed him to Vegas, made him fall in love with you, put some spell on her. I don't fucking know what happened there. That was crazy. But was a fan of the show as well and knew who Jax was. So you're acting shocked and brand new that he's not paying his taxes, pulling out all the stops for the divorce, playing dirty as fuck. You're shocked? I'm shocked that you're shocked. Whatever. Anywho. Tom Girardi is getting 7 years in prison for fraud. Thank God. I mean, he's 80 something. He looks decrepit. It's bad. I mean, 7 years is not enough. It's just for the fraud and embezzling, I believe. It's not for any of the victims, but 7 years is something. Rachel Zoe is going to be joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, I never used to watch... Was she on Project Runway? She had her show Rachel Zoe or something. Anyways, I never watched it. I want to do a rewatch because I was like so young, and this is like when Bravo was not that popular. Although I did used to watch Real Housewives of OC way back when, just when it was on TV. But when I was in junior high, but I never understood the craze, obviously. But loved it then, love it now. But anyways, I'm going to go back and rewatch Rachel Zoe's show. Apparently, she's coming on because she needs money and she's going through a divorce. And she thinks that it'll help capture a new audience. I'm sure she better bring it. She needs money. She better bring it. Because I have to tell you, I did not finish this last season of Beverly Hills. I don't care. I don't know what's going on. It was boring as hell and hard to watch. So I hope there's a shakeup. Real Housewives of Miami premiered. And really the only reason why I want to touch on this, well, I guess Alexia and Todd are divorcing or have divorced. And a lot of people are speculating due to taxes because they have seen them together on and off. And I guess she was just on Watch What Happens Live after the Miami premiere and said that her and Todd are not together at this time, but they hooked up a couple days ago, but now they're not together. And she said that she would remarry Todd again. I don't know what's going on there. I guess we'll see it play out on the season. But I love my little Miami accent I've been practicing. When I'm kind of sad that Dr. Nicole Martin is not on this season, but Larsa ruined it for fucking everybody. When she was like, you don't know what it's like to have a job. And she was like, Larsa, I'm a doctor. Larsa, you're on OnlyFans. Larsa. Lisa? Larsa. I just wanted to say that. Do you guys think that was good? And scene. Anyways, yeah, so she's going... I love Miami. I'll talk more about it, when the season kind of airs and there's more juice and tea to talk about. But yeah, it's premiered. It's on Peacock, so you guys should watch it if you haven't. Nick Viall is hosting Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion. It is airing July 1st, so it's coming up. Okay, I wonder, are you guys excited for that as a host, or would you prefer somebody else? I was actually pretty disappointed in Stassi and Lisa being the host of the Vanderpump Villa reunion because I feel like they didn't go as hard. They grazed over a lot of shit. I kind of beat a dead horse with that, so go back and listen to the old episodes. But I really hope that Nick gets into the tea. If he's going to do it, do it up. Do it big like Andy. Get to the root of, what's going on, the CMA of it all. Fucking Demi being all I'm Queen Bee. Jesse and Jordan are separating, ? I don't know. Apparently Jesse was on his podcast semi-recently, the Viall Files, and wasn't wearing her wedding ring. So I don't know if they're separating. Jesse did just post a Father's Day post with her and Jordan and the kids. So maybe they're back together. Maybe they're doing it for ratings. Maybe the ring was just off. Maybe she was getting it resized or cleaned or whoever knows. So I also didn't listen to that episode of Viall Files, so I'm not too sure. But I would be interested to see your take on that. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case has been dismissed. Okay. I'm shocked. Honey. I was in tears almost. I was shocked. I was shocked that it came this far and then now all of a sudden, why this sperm, that it is dismissed. Well, apparently that was only part of the case or the civil case. There's a lot of layers to this case and it's too far gone. I'm confused. But I saw an article today that Baldoni is still able to get Blake Lively and Taylor Swift's text because apparently there is text messages going back and forth between Blake and Taylor about scene direction or something like that. I don't know, dude. I hate to say it. I'm such a Swiftie, but I want to see. I'm a fly on the wall. I tell you. Okay, and in other news and other TLC greatness, I'm watching this new show called Virgins. It's exactly what you think. It's 4 virgins who are virgins trying to date and navigate this life. The oldest, I think, is 38, like almost 40. There's, oh shit, I forgot her name. Let me look at the names. Okay. There's a 37-year-old woman from Hollywood, California. Her name is Sonali, and she says that she's a virgin. She falls in love with people just when she kisses them. And I think, you know, obviously I don't want to get into being analytical, I guess, because who am I? But obviously this is all, you know, deep-seated, emotional, potentially physical trauma. And therapy is a wonderful drug, people. But I will say, she got diagnosed with vaginismus. I probably butchered that. But the only reason why I was thinking, she was like, it hurts. Like, I can't even put a tampon. I've never tried to put a tampon, all these things. The only reason why I was thinking about that, and then they answered it on the most recent episode, is because I saw this girl on TikTok with the same condition. And basically it means that your vagina is the size of a pinhole and your pelvic floor is so tight that the muscles lock up and, you know, nothing can go in or out, and it's extremely painful. And anyways, so this lady goes to a gynecologist, or actually, no, I think she goes to a pelvic floor therapist, and she gives her dilators, and she says that it'll take about 4 to 8 months for, you know, your pelvic floor and walls to relax. But so that's like a real medical condition as to why she's a virgin. But I just wonder, like, that is such a scary condition. I couldn't imagine. I'm sure it's excruciating. I mean, they've said that it's excruciating. The girl on TikTok said it was excruciating. And get this, the girl on TikTok, she said, I got married and my husband like basically helped her for the next 4, I think she said 8 months or like a year, to help loosen the pelvic floor. And they did a bunch of therapies and stuff. So he was like really patient with her. And I'm like, wow, I love that. Like, you really married a good one, you know, like that was amazing for her. So I'm glad for her. Another one, Rasha is, oh my God, 42, a virgin. Oh my God. I'm like about to be a virgin. Like, truly, like, I feel like part of healing and like going to therapy is like becoming asexual. Like, I want to die. I healed too much. Anyways, she married this guy who she had been like, had an online relationship with for the last like 4 or 5 years, whatever. They finally get married. She does a K-1 visa. They were married for 10 months, did not consummate the marriage, and they divorced. So she was like, what the hell? So, you know, and she talks about, she has a great story. I mean, all of these people have like really great stories. They're not unattractive. Even the guy, he's like, I could see the guy like being cute. Like, not for me, but he's not like terrible. You know what I mean? And especially when he was younger, he was like really like cute. Like, they showed old photos. So I don't know. I feel bad. Who I'm about to talk about is Alex. He's 34 and he lives in his parents' attic. I mean, it is, and I'm on TLC's website. It says, textbook failure to launch. Totally agree. And his sisters are trying to get him laid. They go to a speed dating event. So we're still trying to see it play out. Now, the one that I kind of really want to talk about is Deanne. She's from LA. She is really pretty. They're all, like I said, they're all attractive people. So I'm not really understanding like what's going on. Deanna's 35. I believe she's a Virgo. I think she has a Virgo Venus. And she has really high and unrealistic expectations. She wants the Prince Charming. She wants to date and marry and fuck Liam Hemsworth. You know what, babe? You live in LA. Go fuck Liam Hemsworth. I'm not getting it. And then it's like, I feel like at some point you should just do it to do it and find somebody who is into that. And then anyway, she goes to a matchmaker and, you know, she's like, well, I want somebody who, you know, looks like Liam Hemsworth and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, well, we need to we can get somebody attractive, but they're not going to be into the virgin thing. Like, the lack of experience is really a turnoff for a lot of people. And, you know, I would agree because she's also never been in a serious relationship or any relationship for that matter. So she's got a double whammy. She doesn't have the skills to be in a partnership, which, You know, like have you ever even been a roommate? You know what I mean? Do you even know how to live with somebody? Do you know how to compromise? Anyways, I think she's got some deep-seated shit. And on top of that, she's really shallow. She's like, I know I'm so shallow. I think she should just go fuck somebody hot from the bar. That's what I really think she should do. But that's just me. So you guys should watch that show on TLC. I'm so disappointed in this. I watched the Titan documentary. Remember the submersible Ocean Gate that exploded 2 years ago? I can't even believe that was already 2 years ago. It was 2022. If you can believe it. I was bored. Like, there's not much to report. And I have to say, it wasn't as juicy as I thought. I obviously, I can't believe I'm going to say this either. I kind of have a little bit of empathy for like the billionaires too, not just the son that came, but like the billionaires who could afford an expedition like that, you know? Why not? I feel like if you have the money, like you should go. And if this company is saying that it's safe, mind you, they have not had one successful mission. And that was their 80th or 80th mission. They haven't had one successful mission. And that guy, Stockton Rush, built a submersible out of carbon fiber. And I just have a question, and maybe I missed this. If you knew the carbon fiber was not going to make it to that depth, why would you not just make it out of different materials? Like, I understand cheap and cutting costs, which is crazy in terms of safety. And you know, the Titanic is only 2,000 feet down. And I say that like saying only, but like really, I feel like 2,000 feet is not that far. But the pressure of I think it's like 9 atmospheres of pressure with the water and everything. So like it makes it 10 times worse than like going to space, to be honest. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I hope those facts are true. I just don't know why he didn't make the submersible out of different materials. Like, mind you, it was cracking, it was crackling, the fibers were breaking, and they were not repairing the fibers. They were just like, oh, well, we got lucky this time type thing. It's wild when you think about it that way. And it is really sad. And I actually do think that they should be held liable for that because they haven't had one successful mission and one successful trip. And you put innocent lives in danger. Like, that's awful. So that's really sad. But I don't think like what he was doing was actually so terrible. Like, you know, when you watch the documentary, you're like, I mean, yeah, like sometimes to be like a scientist and to be an innovator, it is like doing crazy shit that no one wants to do. And I just think, you know, the submersible was a very unfortunate situation. No way near and no way in hell should people have been on that. Not even Stockton himself. But I am glad in a way that he was a captain that went down with this ship. You know, I'm glad that they didn't feel pain. It was quick. It was kind of weird. So then I went down a rabbit hole and I'm like, oh, let me see. Basically, Netflix took the documentary from National Geographic or Discovery and just did their own interviews with people. So there wasn't really new information. And I guess I don't know what I was expecting. But yeah, it was a little boring and I was a little disappointed. And last but not least, some sad news this morning. I still have a rash. I've broken out into a rash. This morning I watched the Astroworld documentary, Travis Scott's Astroworld tragedy that happened in 2021. I can't even believe it was so long ago. I remember barely hearing about it. I just got into real estate. I had a coworker whose son went and she was like, yeah, they were not her son bought tickets, but like she said that people were, you know, hopping the fence and there was like, they were way over capacity, like blah, blah. I did not hear until this Netflix documentary dropped 2 days ago, a day ago, whatever, on Twitter and on TikTok, that people were getting crushed. The story that I heard was that a crazy person came in with the crowd and was shooting people up with the fentanyl needle. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if that story is a cover up by Live Nation, by Travis Scott's team, by people there, if that was a rumor. I have no idea. But I always thought drugs were involved and people were dying that way. I did not know that they suffocated to death. I mean, I don't even know. I'm like getting choked up. I don't know that I can really talk about this because it's still so raw that I watched it. And it's so extremely sad that these were children. These were young adults. These were kids trying to have a good time and vibe. And Travis Scott encouraged crazy violence and mosh pits. And I don't want to sound like a Karen of being like, you guys can't have fun. I just, there was protocols that were neglected. And it's unfortunate that only 10 people, technically 8, that Live Nation only accounts for passed away. 10 that we know of. I'm sure many, many more children and young adults passed away. It's very sad, very, very sad. Very sad documentary to watch. My heart goes out to the victims and their families and their friends and anybody that was affected or just even experienced, somebody dying next to them or somebody that couldn't breathe or they couldn't breathe and, they lived. And I couldn't imagine. And I don't want to be all, that's why I don't do crowds. Like, I've never been a concert person. And I hope this is a cautionary tale to those who do want to go to, come on, we're all just trying to have fun, what the hell? Like, we can't go to school, we can't go to a concert, we can't go to the grocery store. I mean, what? It shouldn't even be a cautionary tale of going to a concert or being in public places with large crowds, but you should know where your exits are. You should not be too close in a crowded place. Don't be up in the front. Like, it's just sad that we have to think about stuff like that. And I couldn't imagine what the survivors are feeling and losing their friends and brothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends and fiancés. I couldn't imagine. So my heart really goes out to them. Maybe I'll have more thoughts on it. It's not really for me to discuss anyways. I wasn't there, but yeah, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend also on TikTok, all of a sudden people are posting their videos from Astroworld 2021. And it's hard to watch too, because especially like on TikTok, you're literally POV, so that's really hard to watch in the aftermath. So my heart really goes out to all of the victims, and I pray that you guys are finding healing. Yeah. So, well, sorry to end on a somber note like that, but I really appreciate you guys listening. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have any comments, concerns, feedback, commentary, you can email me, coffeemeetsvodkapod@gmail.com. Comment on any of our posts or reels or TikToks, our shorts, our YouTube, anything that you guys want to interject, please. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear your comments. Good, bad, the ugly, who cares? Yeah, let me know. Follow us anywhere you get podcasts, Coffee Meets Vodka, on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Rate us 5 stars, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.